What's poppin' with the squad? How y'all doing? How y'all living? It's your boy Amauri. We back with another one, and today we back with the album reviews, and we gotta talk about one of my favorite artists, Russell, and his newest album, Dearly Loved. Man, have I enjoyed it. First off, I want to talk about the intro. It's called Superstar. It's one of those songs where if you've been a longtime fan, the lines that he hits you with, the sentiments behind those lines that he hits you with, it just rings through and through, and it makes you feel like you almost haven't missed a beat. With this being his first new project in years, honestly, his first new full-length project since he's rebranded as Russell, all caps with an exclamation point. I really do like to see that he is keeping his character true to itself. He is staying true to the core of who he wants to be, and that's not he wants to do everything he can to be some megastar that takes him away from himself, that takes him away from his family and what he enjoys out of music, but the opposite. It makes sense that he makes the statement that I don't want to be a superstar if, I have to change who I am, if I have to become somebody else. I do this because I enjoy it. The reason why I stopped messing with the music industry is because I did not want to lose who I am. And with such a strong statement on the opening track of the album, that somehow finds a way to fit within this whole love story narrative that he's giving us throughout the album, it just, chef's kiss, made me want to listen to the album that much more. Beyond that, some of my favorite tracks include Rita's Freestyle, which he gave us with a fairly cool, although fairly stereotypical, radio personality introducing the next song in the lineup. And what he left us with was something that was short, but something that was memorable. I've been going back to that one quite often, funny enough. And if I'm being honest, that radio personality opening is part of the reason why. It just contributes to the whole experience. It shows you a little bit of who he is as a person, his silliness, the way he portrays himself, and the way that he gives off a confidence even when he's trying something new. So that is one of my favorite tracks. Another one of my favorite tracks off this project is Just Like Candy. Several people, including one of my best friends who's an artist, my wife who for the most part enjoys the same type of music that as I, and a few other people, they were not a fan of it. They didn't like how the vocals lined up with each other. They didn't like how the backing vocals it just kind of gives it this weird multiplicity of like you're hearing so many different voices. And while at first it was kind of off-putting how it was mixed and how the vocals did sit on top of each other, after a while I actually grew to like that. I thought that it gave the song a little bit of depth. I liked how it differentiated itself from all the other tracks in purely just the way it sounded. That sound alone was enough to make it stand out from the rest of the album and something that made me want to come back to it. That along with the songwriting, the catchiness of the hook, just the chord progression of the song, fairly simple but still fairly entertaining, still fairly immersive. It gave me the chance as somebody who really enjoys this type of R&B music, this lovey-dovey, I'm going to spill my heart out to you, heartthrob type R&B. It gave me something to look forward to. And while we are here talking about this album, I can almost guarantee you I've listened to that song at least twice already today. Another track that surprisingly caught me and I was a really big fan of was Am I Enough? I am not a big fan of house music at all. I'm sorry, it just doesn't hit for me. But for some reason, maybe it's because of my bias, or maybe it's just because it was done in a style in which I can better relate to than just, the typical house music. But either way, Am I Enough? I really enjoyed that song. I enjoyed everything from the cadence to the production to even the way he sung the song. It just felt so, this is the way I feel like house music should be done. And I know that's a big statement, and I know that's a very biased statement, but for somebody who doesn't like it, this was the way to make me pay attention to it. With all that being said, there were a handful of what I believe to be throwaways, including Diamond Ring. It just didn't itch that scratch for me. It felt fairly surface level. It didn't really feel like it added anything to the narrative of the album. Heartbreak, while that was one of his singles he released and it was fairly popular, it really just did not do it for me either. In the same vein as Diamond Ring, I feel like it just really didn't add much. Also, I feel very sad. That was a weird one for me. I have a love-hate relationship with it. There are some things I like about it. There are some things I don't like about it. But overall, it just felt kind of forced. Upon first listen, this album kind of just feels like it doesn't really know what it wants to do, what story it wants to tell, but the more you listen to it, the more it becomes a story of him as a lover and less of these other girls that he's finding along the way, which is what I enjoy about it. It's not the typical "she broke my heart, here's a love album" about it. It's more of the "I've been through some stuff, you've been through some stuff, I've put these women through some stuff. Here's what I was thinking while I was going through it. Here's how I felt. Here's why I backed off. Here's why I couldn't commit. Here's why I went all in when I did. Here's what you did to make me feel the way you did." And I like hearing that narrative. It gives more context to the story of why he is in the situation he's in when it comes to his love life. I think that this whole tired narrative of "I did everything I could, she broke my heart," or vice versa, is just fairly one-sided and one-dimensional. It doesn't really tell about the artist. It doesn't really do anything but make for music that sells. So to hear something like this told the way it's told, that's part of the reason why I was such a big fan of it. Overall, I'd give this album a solid 7. It's not something out of this world, and it's not something that I would say would even be up for album of the year, honestly. However, it is something that I personally enjoyed a lot. It is something that I found value in. It is something that I will continue to go back to. Several songs I will continue to go back to. But that's just me. That's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. I would love to know how you feel about it, what you think, and feel free to check it out. I'll leave a Spotify link in the description down below. Jump down to the comments. Let's talk about it. I'll see you on the next one. Thank y'all for watching. I'm gone.